Hey everybody, I'm Lori from the Knitting Sisters. Today we're going to take apart, I'm going to show you guys how to take apart the knitting machine, the 32 pin mushroom. As you see right here, I'm going to take it straight out of the box. It's the first time I'm opening it. We're going to switch out the gearing by Grumpy Head Designs. This is the gearing that we get right here. We're going to switch that bad boy out, and then we're going to put it all back together again. So here we go. Okay, so first things first, we're going to take all four of these screws out. And I have not taken this machine apart yet, so bear with me. And we are going to actually just set them inside. I'm going to put this salsa bowl in there just in case they do fall. It will fall right in there. That one's on there tight. Okay, so now that we've got those screws apart, we are going to go onto the side. You have the 3 holes right here, 1, 2, and 3. You want to make sure you take out all those screws. That's why you need this little bit longer one. And we're just going to unscrew it. Okay, so we got that side. We're going to flip it over to the other side and do the same exact thing. So as you can start seeing that it's going to start coming apart, all we're going to do is just give it a little wiggle. Just help guide it. Don't force it out. I'm just going to give it a nice little wiggle. Sometimes it does take a little bit maneuvering. Let's go ahead and take this part out right now. So we took that ring off. I'm going to set that one aside. I'm going to take this part off and set that aside as well. That way it can help us get through this. Oh, I did forget one thing, you guys. Oh, I did get that one. There we go. And there goes my pin. I'll get that later. So as you guys can see, We're just going to pop this bad boy off. And usually I do have a little bowl. Unfortunately, I did not have one this time, but that's okay, because here all we're trying to worry about is what we're going to do is we're going to take this bad boy out and then replace it with a new gearing. So here's another thing that you have to do, and I did not realize it at the time. What you're going to have to do is you're going to pop that out. You're going to pop this part out right here. It does not look like it can be, but I promise you it can. And I was not prepared. Usually I go ahead and grab a flathead screwdriver. And what you have to do is just kind of wedge something underneath there. Okay, so I had to go off camera because I was having a lot of issues with this one right here. So this part actually does pop off. As you guys can see, it does come off. Kind of scratched it up a little bit. That is okay. But that is how you're going to remove that screw in the inside right here. All you're going to have to do is unscrew that. Be careful, because I have heard that some of these screws have been stripped already. So just be very, very careful with that, so you don't, make sure you don't unscrew that one or strip it anymore. So all we're doing is just going very slowly. There we go. We're getting that one out. Okay. So once I get it out, I'm going to put it right there, right next to it. And then all we're going to do is just kind of wiggle. Oh, goodness gracious. Wiggle it, and there we go. We got that one out. We're going to grab the new one. The new one does come with a screw that goes with it. So all we're going to do is put that one in there. It has a little notch in there, so put that notch in there. It will be a little tighter fit, but that is okay. That's exactly what you want. And then all you're going to do is put that screw back in there. And then we're just going to work it nice and easy. We want to make sure it's nice and straight. Sometimes you might need to do a little bit of finessing. And push that one in all the way. You know what? I'm going to take that one out. I'm going to grab that one that came with it. Okay, so okay, so I did go back to the one that it came with, and all we're going to do is just nice and twist it in there. It is a little bit more difficult, but that's going to be okay because you want it super, super secure. Okay. We are in there nice and good. And so what we're going to do now is we're actually going to put this back together. What I do suggest is go ahead and grease it. I'm going to go ahead and grab my grease. And here's what I use. I'm going to use a little bit of white lithium grease. And we're just going to spray just a little bit. As you guys can see, it did come up pretty fast. I'm just going to make sure everything's nice and oiled up. There we go. Get a little bit more on this side. And it is okay if it's a little gunked up. It is okay. that will only be touching the inside and it will not touch the yarn. So I'm actually going to grab me a little rag just to wipe it up just a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we cleaned it up just a little bit. As you guys can see, it's still got a lot of that white lithium grease. And what we're going to do is now we're just going to put this back in and just go backwards. So where we were before, just make sure everything lines up properly. Make sure it turns no problems either way. So that's exactly what we want. Okay, so now we got the handle. Go ahead and put this back on there. Make sure the teeth are going down because that is what's going to line up right here. So you can put this down first. And then I usually go ahead and put this down. And you guys, I will point out on this side, if you guys can see, there's that little nipple. You want to make sure that that opening right there, it goes right in there. That's the only way it will seat properly. And then all we're going to do is just put these back in here. These ones do not need to be oiled because of the fact that it came pre-oiled. So we're going to go ahead and leave it as is. Okay, so we got all the parts in. We have the inner ring, and now all we're going to do is just match up. This one actually does not have the numbers on there, so that is okay. If you guys choose to put the numbers on there, right now, once you have this piece off, right now would be the perfect time to put those numbers on if you want to number yours. And all we're going to do is just kind of angle it in. We want to make sure it seats nice and neat in there. We're not forcing it. Sometimes we'll have to wiggle it a little bit just to get it seated properly. Just kind of wiggle it in there. And then once we get that in there, then we're going to go ahead and put this piece over and just seat it nice and neat. But I will highly suggest once you actually, before you put that in there, because this is where it's going to be numbered. So this is where I would actually put my numbers on there. What you want to do is match up wherever your 1 pin is, which mine is right here. What I want to do, and it has that little notch out. What I want to do is find that one white pin, which is right here, and that's exactly where I'm going to put that little notch one, which is also the white pin. So we are going to put it just like that. That is my white pin. That is my number 1 pin. That's how I do it. You guys can choose however way you want to. Remember, you guys, we did not screw these in just yet. You can. Actually, we can go ahead and do that in there. That way nothing falls out. we're gonna just go ahead and secure those. What I do is I do a one side. I'm not gonna tighten it so tight right now, but we wanna make sure that it's in there. And then I'm gonna go on the opposite side, so right this one. We're gonna go ahead and screw those ones in. And that way it keeps everything together. You don't have anything flying away. None of the pins hop out. Okay. Grab another one. We're going to do the other side. All right, so now we're going to tighten everything. Make sure everything stays nice and tight. Okay, so once we got everything secure, what I'm going to do is now I'm actually going to seat it in the correct place. So all we're going to do is make sure, here's a big thing, is make sure you guys line these up right here, the little notches right in here. So sometimes it can take a little bit of maneuvering, but we will definitely get it correctly. Make sure it's seated down properly before we start. Like I said, sometimes you want to make sure that it's seated properly, but you don't want to force it. So we are just going to wiggle it just a little bit. And there's my dog whining. There we go. Okay, once we get it seated in properly, you want to make sure everything is underneath that lip, and you're going to grab the other side and you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to match the two sides together, and then this is where we're going to do the screws. So I always do one side, and also too, I wanted to say, like, this is where the tube and panel, this is how you switch it. That one did pop out, so I want to make sure that I get that one in there correctly. Sometimes it can be a pain in the keister to get it seated properly. I have done that in the past. As you can see, it is very, very tight in there. Okay, we got that side. All right, there we go. So now we're going to match it up, make sure the two sides match up together. And you might need to kind of help guide it a little bit, but that is okay. That is normal. So all we're going to do is put one of our screws in there, and we're going to grab one side and just kind of push these two together. I'm actually doing the middle side, as you guys can see right here, and we're just going to bring these two sides together, making sure we keep it together when we screw that in. I'm just going to do just the middle one on this side, and as you can see, it's actually bringing the two together. And then I'm going to do the other side, the middle one too, making sure everything seats in there properly. Okay, kind of bring it a little bit closer. Sometimes you might have to help it a little bit. There we go. And as you can see, it is, every time I give it a nice little twist, it brings the seam a little bit closer. So now once you get on both sides, all you're going to do is just continue making sure you grab each one of these. So this one as well as this one on that side, and then we'll do the opposite side after. There. side. Move it this way. Put that handle in the way. There we go. And the last one. All right, so once we got everything in there, all we're going to do is just a small little function check. So nothing should be forced. If you're having any of these problems, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you don't have those issues. Something might not be seated properly. There we go. So kind of move it back and forth. If something's not seated in there properly, it will give you a lot of bit. Just make sure you don't force it. Just kind of wiggle it, and as you guys can see, everything is seated nicely in place. The good thing about this one is it doesn't have a counter as of right now. So as you guys can see, there's no certain place to put that number 1 pin. Just make sure you match up the row where it says the counter, or not the counter, the numbers on this little guy right here. Make sure it actually shows the number 1 for your white pin, so you can put that at any place. And there we go. Y'all make sure to go ahead and hit that like and hit that subscribe button. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day.